What up, what up, what up? You're listening to Behind the Balance with me, your host, BalancingClaire. We're going to talk about all things health, fitness, lifestyle, relationships, career, you name it. I want to chat about it. So always feel free to message me on TikTok, Instagram, wherever you can find me, and let me know what you want to chat about. I have a few topics lined up, obviously, because I've been thinking about starting a podcast for might be over a year now. I've had the Notes app in my phone with all my ideas lined up. Talk about this. I'm going to have this person on, and I just never acted on it. But here we are. I have found the courage to be here. It was one of those things. I think it was Monday. Today is Thursday. Monday, I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I have this sudden urge to start this. I'm going to do it today. So I recorded the original episode 1 on my iPad using my AirPods. And Caleb came home and I was like, I did it. I recorded something. And then he listened to it and he's like, that sounds awful. I can always rely on him to just be totally honest, which I knew it sounded awful, but I was just so excited that I did it. Because first off, it's kind of awkward just talking to yourself. Like, it's me in an empty house with a camera. I mean, I do that on my phone with my stories, but also it's kind of like soothing because, like, you're not just keeping it all in your head. Like, you're just chatting. Anyway, I've been wanting to start this podcast for a while now, and I have a lot of topics I want to talk about. But today I'm just going to give you an introduction of my thoughts, what I want this to be about, the name of the podcast and why I chose the name, and also how it pertains to my social media presence. So, to start, if this is where you're finding me, my social media presence on almost everything except Snapchat, which is not super public, I am BalancingClaire. So, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, Twitter, I think that's it. I don't have a YouTube. We're BalancingClaire. So you can find me there, and which is also how the podcast name Behind the Balance came to be. So I show a lot of my life on TikTok and Instagram, but it's all through pictures and reels and TikToks. Obviously, it's just like little snippets of my day and snippets of my life and the major things that are happening, but there's no real like deep conversation or connection, which I think a podcast has. And I've always loved listening to podcasts. I think the first podcast I started listening to, and it's still my favorite, but now it's the Health Code Daily. It was the Health Code by Sarah's Day. And then I listened to Joe Rogan some with my husband. And I just like it. I like sitting, listening to it. I like pausing it and then looking at Caleb or a friend and talking about it. Like, it gets your juices flowing, and like you feel like you're sitting in that room talking to that person. So I feel like this was a way to have a way deeper connection with y'all, especially since the situations I've been through, whether that be acne, athletics, knee injuries, that I'm 3 months post-surgery now, and I meet a lot of y'all through messages, like my DMs, and then I made so many friends through that, and I was like, well, let me sit down and tell more of my story and talk with y'all more and bring in people that have changed my life a lot or have opened my eyes to different circumstances and basically made me a better person, and overall just like tell more stories, sit down and have a podcast chat. So BalancingClaire started, let me backtrack a little bit. 2016, I graduated high school. All good, healthy, yada yada. So December of 2016, not December, May? When does college start? August. Yes. August of 2016 was my first semester at UL. All good. First time in athletics. First time kind of lifting heavy, because we did do some lifting in high school wasn't near the amount we do in college, wasn't near the intensity we do in college. So fast forward to semester 2. So January of 2017, I just randomly started breaking out. And I know it's like, what, randomly? Like, literally, I woke up one morning and had 2 pimples. I was like, okay, like, that's weird. I usually don't have skin, like, big skin insecurities. I was like, that's kind of weird. Next morning, it was like more. And like, you can even ask like some of my family, my close friends, like it did just kind of just happen. Like it was weird. So we're going to save that for another podcast, like another episode, because it's a long story. But the acne kickstarted BalancingClaire. Whoa, hit the table. The acne kickstarted the health journey. The acne kickstarted the confident new me. So my mom did not let me get on Accutane. Thanks, Mom. I understand now. Back then, couldn't stand it. But we fixed my acne through my nutrition and my diet, because if it's shown on the skin, there's something wrong internally. The gut's messed up, the hormones, etc. So we fixed it through my diet and what I was eating. And one of my friends who was with me on the track team at the time, she was watching the way I was eating, watching my plates of food, what I was doing, like just how my lifestyle had changed. We're gonna touch on this very detailed later on. And she said, Claire, you should start a food Instagram and you should start posting what you eat. I was like, no, ma'am, I'm not doing that. I promise you no one cares what I'm eating. She's like, no, you should. And I was like, okay. I thought about it. And then I was like, no, that's not for me. Like, I just don't want to do that. And then a few months passed. I started really started to feel better, really started to look better. Started gaining like healthy muscle. And she was like, Claire, I'm going to do it for you. Like, you should totally do this. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. But like, it's just for me, to document me. And now I don't really have to tell anyone about it. So we started the Instagram, and it was called Powered by Plants, because I was vegan for 2 years, maybe a little over 2 years. But I was vegan for 2 years, cleared up my acne. I just realized I broke my lamp. Oh, wow. Cleared up my acne, and then started on more of a fitness journey, because I felt like I had the food down pat, and then I felt like I had what I was supposed to eat, what made me feel good, etc. I was like, okay, now I'm going to get deeper into athletics and fitness, focus more on javelin, focus more on my body and what it can do. And I'm going to document that on Powered by Plants. So I was sitting, I probably had Powered by Plants for like 2 months. And I was sitting in, what class was it? Econ. I was sitting in econ. I just made friends with a girl, and I was like, I'm going to tell her about my food Instagram. And I told her, and luckily she was super honest. Like, we did not know each other well. And she's like, I think you can do better than Powered by Plants. Like, I think you can do better than that name. And I was like, okay. And when she said it, I was like, yeah, I'm not in love with it. Like, it's kind of basic. Like, I know I can do better. She said, so like, what are some words that like you find motivating? Like, what, like, sit there and jot it down, like write down a few things, Google some things. Like, so I'm sitting on my iPad, totally paying attention to what the professor was teaching about international economics. And I was writing down like, okay, Health by Claire, like I'm making stuff up, but it was probably along these lines, like Fit with Claire, Fitness Claire, yada yada. And then I wrote, and she's like, okay, veer away from that. Like, that's what everyone does. She's like, consistent, motivation, athletic, like words that are more specific. I said, okay. So I just started writing down words. Balance, I can't remember. This was so long ago. And I was like, wait, what about BalancingClaire? And obviously I write this down on my iPad. I show it to her because I specifically remember getting in trouble with this professor, him being like, Claire and so, do y'all have something y'all want to say? Just straight up called us out. I'll never forget that. And I was like, no, sir, we're good. We're good back here. We're just talking about Instagram, okay? Anyway, I showed it to her and she's like, yeah, I like it, BalancingClaire. And I was like, you get it? She's like, I mean, kinda. And I was like, well, it makes perfect sense in my head. I'm going to explain it to you after. So we get out of class and I'm like, okay, it's kind of like a new life for me. I just got into Division I athletics. I just started a new health journey. I just started I've just moved out of my house, finding new friends, meeting new people. I just got out of a long-term relationship. I'm just getting back into the dating world. That's a lot to juggle. And starting college and starting to lift weights and focus on your body. That is a lot to juggle. And when I tell you I was stressed out, which is also why I had acne, I just wanted a balance so bad. I just wanted to feel better. I wanted to say it's cool. It's all right. We got it. We're going to get through it. We just got to balance it out. So in my head, I was like, perfect. Anyone who wants to come along for the ride, I'm going to take you along for the journey. And we're going to balance Claire. Now, I'm not perfect. Nowhere near completely balanced because I still have some days where it's bad. But it is way better, and we're still balancing Claire. You're still following me on the journey of how we're doing that. And now I'm I don't know if I feel like it's just my little baby, but it's like my own diary and documentation of what I'm going through and what I went through from starting college to getting into athletics, to succeeding in athletics, to overcoming acne, to having a season-ending, could be career-ending injury, to finding a husband and going through a hell of a story with him, which we'll save for a later episode. It's great. Just that's a lot for, and what was that at the time? 18, 19? That was a lot going on emotionally. And then you're living on your own. No, I did call my mom probably every day crying, but that's a lot to handle. And sometimes I still feel like I end up, okay, I'm tracking off, but that's how BalancingClaire came to be. So the OG, powered by plants, turned into BalancingClaire, and now she's my little baby, and that's how I document my life. And I post everything on there, and it is what it is. And you can watch it, you can not, you can come and go, you can follow me some days, and you can say, oh my God, that's aggravating the next. But it's not for anyone else but me. I pray that, let's say, come 2026, no, way further than that. I'm tripping. Let's say when my kid is 14, 15, or let's say when she's 18, or he probably won't care as much, but maybe she's going through a breakup, or maybe she's having acne, or maybe she has a career-ending injury, and I got it all right there. Let's pray iCloud doesn't bust, and Instagram, it might, this could happen. But I know I'll still have it all, and that's just, I don't know. I like it that way. I don't think it's for everyone. I don't think everyone loves social media, but it's working for me, and I like it, and I'm going to keep doing it. But don't get me wrong, there was a time through that acne involvement that I had to delete social media just because I couldn't see other people, just had insecurities, all these things that happened that ultimately created BalancingClaire. I feel like that's why it's so important to me. It's because of where Claire started and now where she is, and still how much she has left to go. And I feel like everyone goes through that, from starting college at 18, graduating at 22, getting out of college and going, who the hell am I? What the hell do I do now? And I have to be an adult. We're going to cover all of that, because I didn't think I'd have much to say. And now that I'm talking, I just want to talk about everything. But I'm going to keep this one shorter just because I wanted to give you an intro And so everything you probably heard me mention or touch at, we're going to talk about. We're going to bring in people that helped me. I'm going to bring in my girls for other opinions. Whether if we're talking about boys or relationships, careers, etc. I'm going to bring in my husband. I'm going to try to get one of my doctors on here. I just want this to be more in depth, more behind the scenes of Balancing Claire. And maybe you went through something along the way that you can relate to what I've been through. And sitting down, sipping your coffee, driving to work, driving to meet your long distance boyfriend, whatever you're doing, you could listen to this and be like, dang, okay, I'm not alone. 1, 2, she went through that as well. 3, she might still be going through that. 4, we'll get out of it. Like, someone relates. I promise you, what you're going through out there, someone has went through it. 1, someone relates. Because if you've been following me on Instagram, when this knee injury happened, I was like, this is hell, living hell. Like, no one understands how bad this hurts. Like, I literally feel like my heart got broken. And if the knee injury changed anything for me, it was that there's someone out there who's going through what you're going through. They might be going through it better. They might be going through it worse. It doesn't matter. It's nice to have you knowing someone is going through the same that you're going through. And I'd like to chat about it. So, without going on a tangent, and I know I bounced off the walls and I'm talking in circles, but this is new to me, okay? This is only like my second try. This is my second try. So we will get better. I'm not even sure when I'll post this that I'll have an intro and outro song. Do I need it? I don't know. But we're at the 17-minute mark. And we're going to shut it down. So if you listen to this all the way through, thank you. I'm so excited. And thank you for your support. And I can't wait to chat with you on the next one. See ya. I hope you have a beautiful and balanced life. Until next time.